Starlink internet, should you get it or should you not? Now, I've got to tell you that I'm a huge fan of it, and I have never met anyone who has installed a Starlink dish either on their vehicle or on their home and changed their mind and said, no, I don't want this. That's the positive. Now, you don't necessarily have to install Starlink internet at home, but for many people, it's a huge upgrade over your current internet. Some people, you might have amazing blazing speeds. My parents, even though they live in a rural area, they've got an internet tower right near them and they don't need Starlink. There wouldn't be any real reason for them to do so. But a lot of people living in residential areas, heavily populated areas, and also regional areas could get Starlink internet and find their lives absolutely transformed like I have. Now, there's a current deal, big discounts in Canada, the United States, and Australia. 50% discount on the dish itself, and also big discounts on the cost per month. In the US, the price has come down from about 125 US dollars per month to $99 per month. Similar discounts in other countries as well. I'll put a link in the description so you can get that discount. You get a month free as well if you actually use my link and code. Hey guys, I've been using Starlink now. I do have access to so-called broadband internet, or NBN as we call it here in Australia. But the truth is that Starlink is better. And the truth is there's one downside to Starlink, just one, but there's quite a few positives. And at the moment, Starlink, they have a deal where you can get 1 month free, plus you can get 50% discount on actually installing it. That's, of course, if you use my promo code or my link, which is in the description below. Now, I'm going to explain why you should or maybe shouldn't get Starlink. And in fact, my parents don't have it and they live in a regional area, and I don't think they should get it. But for me, it's absolutely perfect. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. I've had Starlink now for, I believe, about 2 years. In fact, let me check. Yep, I've had it for approximately 2 years. And for me, without it, I would not be able to run this channel. I don't have good enough internet. And I do live in a suburb that's not regional. It's not far. In fact, my suburb is only a few kilometers from the central part of the city. And the city has 500,000 people. So you would think it wouldn't be too bad, normal internet, but it's not. It's terrible. So if you want to upload big files, you're going to need good internet, obviously. So for me, it's been a game changer. There's one drawback to it. Before I get to that drawback though, I'll just tell you what the deal from Starlink actually is. Here, it is 50% off and discounted residential plans for the first year in select areas. So Starlink is offering customers a $275 standard kit. I paid more than that when I bought mine. I think it was $500. So basically 50% off for 1 year for the kit, and also a discount on a 1 year deal. So that's, well, a good deal considering the fact Starlink was quite expensive when I installed it. I actually think it's worth it now because having bad internet absolutely sucks, but that's the deal. And I'll put the information about the deal in the description below, plus a link so you can use that link to get a discount on your Starlink. Now, the one downside is simply the installation. It can be a bit of a pain. Fortunately, my brother-in-law helped out with the installation. I got someone to come and try and install it. The guy did a terrible job. It just didn't happen. So yeah, getting it installed can be a bit of a pain in the butt, especially if you've got a steep roof that's hard to climb up. And the other issue is if you don't have a good line of sight. So if there's trees blocking your roof, blocking the dish, you may have issues. But you know, for most people, you're not going to have that issue. Most people, you're not going to have stuff blocking the actual machine itself, which is obviously got to sit on the ridge line of your house. So it should work pretty well. But yeah, like I said, just getting it installed, it's a bit of a pain in the butt. And for a lot of people, it's easier if you just pay someone to do it if you can't do it yourself. Now, Starlink has just revealed some news. They have a $5 standby mode. Is this a good deal? Well, here are the details. Starlink's monthly bill is relatively expensive, but SpaceX is offering a way to cut it to $5, provided you don't use it for very long. On Wednesday this week, the company introduced standby mode for Starlink. It caused a bit of controversy because it replaces the free pause function that many customers on the Starlink Roam plan used to temporarily pause service and monthly bills. To them, standby mode is a price hike. So you can get a Starlink, a slightly different version than what you use on your roof. You can actually travel with this. So if you want to go around the world, it's ideal. Anyway, some Starlink customers are eyeing standby mode as the ideal way to get cheap, basic internet access in areas with strong wireless connectivity. And basically, to be honest, most of the world where Starlink isn't banned, like places like China, outside of places like that, it actually works really well. Standby mode restricts satellite speeds to a measly 0.5 megabits per second, but it's only $5 per month and offers unlimited data. So that's a big discount from other Starlink Roam plans, which cost $165 a month or $50 per month for 50 gigabyte of data. So if you're only going to use a little bit of internet, let's say, for example, you just want to check your emails and do stuff when you're traveling, that's a really good option at $5 per month. And you could even use that for home if you really wanted to. Now, last week, California, the commission shot down a proposal to increase Starlink satellite launches from a local base. But SpaceX and the US military, well, they don't actually care that much. They've said to California, well, whatever. On Thursday, the California Coastal Commission unanimously rejected a US Space Force request to boost the number of Falcon 9 launches from 36 to 100 rocket launches per year, delivering more satellites for the system so it will work better at Vandenberg Space Force Base. The decision came nearly a year after the Commission denied an earlier proposal to increase the launches from 36 to 50 by partly citing SpaceX CEO Elon Musk's controversial politics and business practices. In other words, California has said, no, we don't like Elon Musk, so you can't launch more satellites. We don't want you to do that. So that's what's happened. Now, I should say, though, some people say, well, how many satellites are there? To be honest, I don't know if it matters that much. I find the SpaceX internet to be more reliable. Now, we actually have two sources of internet here. I've got a backup in case I need it, but I find it to be much more reliable than my corded backup, which is wide into the house, wide into the road, all that NBN connection, broadband internet. In fact, I find SpaceX internet or Starlink internet to be more reliable than that. So even though SpaceX and Starlink have had their request to launch more satellites denied, they are still sending more up. So if you see this news, it doesn't mean that the system isn't getting better. They're still sending more rocket launches up. They're still sending up 36 from California, and I believe more from other locations. So their network is actually getting better. Now, of course, more customers come to the network, it slows down. But because SpaceX is sending up these new satellites, which are getting, actually the satellites themselves are improving as well, because they're sending them up basically every single fortnight, it means that there's more coverage, and that coverage is not spotty. If you have bad weather, it's not a problem. In the past, people would say things like, oh, I don't get satellite internet because if you get bad weather, it drops out. Guys, that's not accurate. It almost never drops out for me, fortunately. And I find that actually it works incredibly well, even in really, really bad weather. I don't notice any difference. I, in fact, don't notice any difference at all with the weather conditions when it storms, etc. Now, finally, as I mentioned earlier, Starlink have cut the dish price in half, and the monthly fee for US customers have gone down. So the fee per month for residential plans is $99 per month, down from $120. New customers can also get a discount on a residential light plan, which drops from $80 per month to $65 per month. And in addition to that, in the US, the cost of the dish has gone from $349 US to $175 US. So basically, we've seen discounts on the dish itself and the service itself. That's for existing and new customers. We've seen them everywhere worldwide. Most countries we can get this internet, SpaceX Starlink internet, the prices have gone down. So yeah, it's a better deal than it's ever been before. And ironically, it's getting cheaper while the service is improving, which is awesome. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.